Hey, what's good, you guys? Welcome back to another Miseducated Rambler video. My name is Bulani Dube, but YouTube prefers to call me Miseducated Rambler. I am educated in that I have a degree in nursing, and I do love to ramble from time to time about random things. And honestly, even in my explanations of like health-related topics, I feel like I be rambling sometimes. So yeah, welcome back, and thank you so much for tuning in. Please stay tuned because I have a good one for you today. First of all, I'd like to welcome you to the first episode of the Myth versus Fact series. I'm very excited about this series because you guys are also going to be able to share some of the myths, the beliefs that you've come across, that you've grown knowing of, and even practicing some things, So you'll be able to share with me some of those beliefs, those myths, and then I can come on here and either debunk or support them. So yeah, stay tuned for those episodes. So as you can see from the thumbnail and the title of the video, today I'll be discussing the myths and facts that have to do with seizures. So first of all, what is a seizure and what is epilepsy? Because the two tend to get mixed up, they tend to be misunderstood, right? So a seizure is a temporary surge in abnormal electrical activities in the brain that can disrupt the communication amongst nerve cells. So nerve cells are these things in the brain that help you to be able to reason, to be able to move your body, to communicate, to see everything that has to do with the functioning of your body involves nerve impulses, right? Especially in the brain. So when these nerve impulses are disturbed by the abnormal surge of this electrical activity, you will find that a person that is having a seizure will experience a change in behavior, in awareness, in the muscle functioning, muscle contraction, all of that. So they're not able to move properly. They're not able to control themselves. So that's why you see them, shake and things like that. And epilepsy, on the other hand, is a chronic condition that affects the brain and it causes frequent, unpredictable seizures, unprovoked seizures. So you never know when a person will have their next episode. It just happens. Compared to seizures that are provoked. Seizures can happen to anyone, to be honest. It can happen because of a head injury, can happen because of a drug overdose, and many other examples which we will get into as we move. So myth number one is people believe that someone that has seizures automatically is considered epileptic, which is not true. Okay, a seizure is not equals to epilepsy. Instead, a seizure is a symptom of epilepsy. So, like I was trying to tell you in the beginning, there are different causes of seizures. A person can have a seizure because of the head injury, like I said, because of a drug overdose, poisoning, stroke, high fever. Yeah. So those are the examples of things that can provoke a seizure. Like, remember I said seizures are provoked, epilepsy is not provoked. It's a chronic condition. The second myth is that when someone is actively having a seizure, you should put something in their mouths to prevent them from swallowing their own tongue. That is a myth. That is false. That is not true. Don't ever do that. The truth is, it is very much impossible. Sorry. It is very much impossible for you to swallow your own tongue. It's physically impossible to swallow your own tongue. Okay, but what can happen is when you are relaxed, when your tongue is relaxed, it can fall to the back of your throat, especially if you're facing upward. It can fall to the back of your throat, and then you can have difficulty breathing. Okay, so therefore you must position the person having the seizure in the recovery position. I will insert what the recovery position looks like on the screen. Okay, you put them into the recovery position so they're able to breathe properly, and you only do that after the seizure. Good? Good. The third myth is that when someone is having a seizure, you should restrain them. So you will find people might, like, a person might come and hug this person, you know, hugging them. Maybe they believe that it will stop the seizure. The truth is, the fact is that you cannot slow down or stop a seizure by restraining that person. It can actually just agitate them, and they can end up harming, you can end up harming the person, or they can harm themselves or even harm you, you know. Remember, they have no control over the muscles. So it's just better you leave them to be. You cannot snap a person out of a seizure. The fourth myth is that you should give them water or medication immediately. So some people might think that as the person is having the seizure, maybe they should pour them with water. Maybe they should force their medication down their mouth. The fact is, if you do that, right, the person's gag reflex might not be in full function. Okay, a gag reflex is an involuntary muscle contraction that is positioned at the back of your throat, and it is designed to prevent choking, to prevent the passage of water or food down the wrong pipe, which is the windpipe. And so when a person is in that state, the gag reflex could be still recovering and all of that. So it's better to avoid forcing any food, any medication, even water down their mouths, because they could choke or take that substance down the wrong pipe, down the windpipe, okay, which can be very bad for them. The fifth myth says that you should always call an ambulance for any seizure that may be occurring. The fact of the matter is that seizures are usually self-limiting. Okay, they only last about 1 to 2 minutes. Okay, so it's not necessary to call emergency services for such seizures. Also, if someone is a known epileptic, it's just better off not to call. It's not necessary, though. It's not necessary to call the ambulance, okay? Unless it's a unique situation where the seizure is lasting up to 5 minutes. Remember that a seizure lasts 1 to 2 minutes. So if it lasts up to 5 minutes, that's a problem. Call the ambulance. And then number 2, you call an ambulance when you notice that the person is having trouble breathing, or immediately after the seizure, they are not responding, or they're not immediately regaining consciousness, okay? The third situation in which you would have to call an ambulance is when you see that they are having another seizure immediately after the first one, okay? The fourth reason you would call the ambulance is when you know that they've experienced a really bad injury, okay? And then the fifth reason would be that you call the ambulance because you know for a fact that this person is experiencing a seizure for the first time in their life. You know from their history that they have never experienced a seizure. So you would have to call an ambulance. To my 2 loyal viewers, thank you so much for staying tuned. Thank you for watching my video up to this point. I appreciate you so much. I hope the video helped you. Okay, my 2 loyal YouTube video viewers, thank you so much. Please stay tuned for the next one. I'm gonna make another video that is still on seizures, but it has to do with what to do when someone is having a seizure, the steps to take. So keep on the lookout for that video. Once again, thank you. Bye.